Hi everyone, my name is Nick and this is Average Nerd DIY. Today I'm going to be making some upgrades, we'll call them, to our washing machine. So specifically I'm going to be installing some water hammer arrestors, which I'll talk about in just a second. I'm going to be changing out the hoses. I'm going to be leveling it. So what a water hammer arrestor is it's essentially a empty tube that has a little, I don't know what to call it, maybe a bladder. A bladder is not necessarily the right term, but it's essentially a piece of plastic that floats up and down. So essentially when you have a washing machine that has a solenoid controlled valve where water will kind of rush in quickly or rush in and then shut off quickly, this prevents it from hammering this water. So essentially when there's that big change in pressure abruptly, it will rock the pipes around, and I've noticed it is happening with this washing machine specifically. And so I have one for hot and cold. And then the washing machine lines, I don't know how old these ones are. They look like they're in good shape, but I figure while I'm here, I might as well change them out. And then leveling, it's been in kind of sore, desperate need of leveling, so I'm going to get that done. So I'm going to open up this packaging, and then we're going to get started. All right, so I am ready to go. So I've started off by turning off the two valves here and here. Pretty important step, so make sure that's done. I'm probably going to have a little bit of water drain out, but this basement has a raw concrete floor and sees a lot of moisture, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to start with the washing machine side just so I can get that out. And let me move this drain line. Ooh, come here. And then we will get started. Now, these are just, essentially these would be the equivalent of channel locks if you don't have this fancy Knipex version. But anyway, I do like these. These are pretty nice. They are what my father-in-law calls my fancy German pliers. So we're going to start by removing this from the back. You do want to be a little careful just because these are, I'm not sure if it's on every washing machine, but this one in particular has plastic threads, so you definitely don't want to be wrenching on it too hard. Oh, hello. Let's get that off. And I'm just going to, let's see, I can probably just drain this line into there. Okay, and not a ton of water in there, but I'll just leave it in there while I get the other one out. Oops, hopefully my big fat head isn't in the way of this riveting action. But yeah, it's pretty easy to remove these. You just got to get them to the point where they're hand tight or hand loose, however you want to look at it, and then remove them. So let's put those down in there so I can get them to hang out. And now I'm going to try and get to them this way. Oh, righty tighty, lefty loosey. That's always the fun part, doing plumbing. You're going in 16 different directions. I'm going to try and get my torso out of the way. All right, same thing here. And there's one. And, oh, I keep flipping my pliers the wrong way. And there's two. Now the reason I'm replacing these hoses, like I said, they probably don't need to be changed, but I don't know how old they are and I don't want to run into any issues. So I'm just going to change them while I'm here. I'll probably keep them as a backup just in case. And then, yeah. All right, so now I'm going to put the water hammer arrestors on. In my case, I'm actually going to put them directly onto the washer. Normally you would put it onto the valves, but because they used a weird valve and I don't really feel like replacing them right now, I don't really like the angle this comes off of. So, you know, if it was like that, then the line would have to go back and around, which, you know, probably not that big of a deal. and it's going to do that to some extent already, but I would just rather have it back here because it just makes more sense to me. I don't think orientation matters, but I'm going to keep it head up. Now, the one thing to know, I'm just going to back this off a little bit, with plastic threads like this, and then also, well, sorry, it's not about the plastic threads, it's about the fact that there is an O-ring in here. So because there's an O-ring in here, you don't want to use any Teflon tape or pipe dope on here because it can actually stop the seal rather than helping it seal. So we're just going to put it on finger tight. I'm going to do the same with the other one. And then we'll tighten them down. Not going to go too crazy because, again, these are plastic threads. We don't need to wrench on them too bad. And you could also use a crescent wrench for this, I think. Well, at least this this portion of it. With the supply lines, you probably can't. Well, you definitely can't because it's just the round opening with teeth. I probably should have put one on at a time, but yeah, who cares? All right, so that seems pretty solid. We'll run a quick test once we get the hoses on. Obviously don't want water going everywhere, so let me open up the hoses. All right, so now just like with the hammer arrestors, going to put these on here. Come on, that is stiff. Why are you so stiff? Huh. Weird. Always have to remind myself. It's reverse. Just do the reverse when you're upside down. That's all you gotta do, and I'm about to do it wrong right here. Oh God. Now this is brass, so I'm going to snug it up a little bit more aggressively, but not too crazy. Don't need to break my nice new water hammer arrestor. For reference, these I all got, the equipment I'm using today, I got from Menards. If you don't have Menards because you're not in the Midwest, I'm sorry for your loss. Just kidding, I'm not that attached to Menards, but you can get this from probably just about any big box store and probably most smaller hardware stores as well. One thing I would recommend is just making sure that the version you have has a removable water hammer arrestor, like this actual portion, because these do go bad over time. Just the way the mechanism works in there, it wears out just like anything mechanical or thereabouts. So just keep that in mind. Will happen, you know, you'd probably just result in some water hammering. You'd notice it and then be able to change it. But I have seen some where it's essentially all in one unit, so you'd have to replace the entire thing in order to get back at it. All right, let's, oh, look at that. Did it the right way. First try. It's like I almost knew what I was doing. All right. Again, just gonna tighten it up pretty well. And this also, I forgot to mention, but this also has a O-ring on it, rubber O-ring, gasket, whatever you want to call it. So we don't want to use any pipe dope or Teflon tape. All right, so these cables or lines are pretty stiff. So let's see if we can, I'm gonna do them one at a time, obviously. Come on. Doing worse at the actual normal quote-unquote orientation. See if I can scooch this around, get over closer. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if the stiffness of that is by design or if it's something's a little goofed up. Sure, it'll be fine either way, but I do wish it was just a little bit looser. And let me guess, I just put that on the wrong one. Got to figure out That's cold, so no, I didn't actually. I got it right the first try. Look at me go. All right, and so now I just need to figure out. So we got this one back here tightened on. Let's just turn this around so we can figure out which way these need to be oriented. And I'm gonna try and get this twist out of here. Maybe there's, oh, hello. Temporary lights betraying me. Yeah, I forgot to include that disclaimer at the start. No, this is not my permanent setup. I just put it in here to make the video a little bit more visible. Okay, well, I guess I'm not getting rid of that kink. Let's see. It'll probably loosen up over time as it gets into its resting position, so I don't want to goof it up myself, so I'm going to leave it be. This one isn't quite as twisted, but maybe it will be in a second. All right, get this one on, then I just have to remember to tighten them up. I will say I do like that these teeth are a bit more robust. There's 2 sets of them, the whole kit and caboodle. Probably should be a bit more gentle so I don't grind them off. All right, that's probably good. But, moment of truth. Gonna crack it slowly. All right. No water here. And no water in the back. And I'll show you just in case you don't believe me. Let's see. All right. Nice and close. No water there. Oh, come here. No water there. And then around the back, that is the, oh, I forget. That is the hot line. And hot line goes in right here. No water there. Aha. All right, let's see if we can get the same success on the cold. Come here. Just make sure to crack it slowly. It'll leak pretty quick if it's going to. And okay, nothing there. There's the proof. Well, I guess it could be underneath. So it could be lying, but there's nothing leaking, I promise. And then back here, nothing leaking, I think. Yep, we're good. All right, so that's that. And now we're gonna get into leveling. And make sure just to open up those valves all the way once you're done. I'm also gonna plug it back in and we'll do that off camera. All right, and so now that I've got things roughly where I want them, it's now getting into the next issue, which is actually leveling the machine. It is pretty far out of level. Side to side, it's not too bad, so let's see. I'm gonna zoom in with my camera now that I've got that set up. So side to side, it's pretty close. It's 16th, 32nd over the line, but you know, we want to get a little bit closer to middle. But front to back, you might have been able to tell from the portion earlier. It's pretty far over. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Yeah, it's all the way over there. So we've got to bring it up a good, I don't know, somewhere in the vicinity of a ½ inch. So we're going to do that now. All right, and so now we're going to actually start the leveling process. Now I haven't used this before. This is a brand new purchase. I actually wanted it for leveling doors, but this was a happy coincidence that I can use it for this. This machine isn't particularly heavy, and most washing machines aren't crazy, so you could use a chunk of wood, some shims, whatever. But I'm going to put this underneath. Now on the front it says that it can do 3/32 of an inch to 2 inches, so that's way more than enough. It can also do up to 300 pounds. Kind of impressive. Do I believe it? Yeah, maybe. But we're just going to put it in the middle. One thing I haven't checked is to see if this machine has built-in leveling feet. It does, I'm sure, but I haven't actually seen what they're like. And we can see it's starting to raise now. Let's see. Well, maybe you can't see, but it's starting to raise. And we're actually pretty close to level. Okay, and so there we go. That's level right there. Just for proof in the pudding. Right there, level. Now let's see what we got going on with the leveling feet underneath. Now, you won't be able to see this because I'm gonna be down low, but see what we can do. There are feet. They don't seem like they're gonna move too much. Let's try and use the old channel locks, or whatever you want to call these, tongue and groove. This will probably be a bit easier with, I don't know what's what, actually. I was gonna say a big crescent wrench, but that'd be a huge crescent wrench. Maybe there's a better tool that I'm not aware of. Let's try and avoid the old plumber's crack. Tail as old as time, still going. Not the most aggressive of threads. I'm sure it's to give you lots of variability. Maybe I'm not going to need shims at all. I think we're getting close to the max of this foot, but maybe I'm wrong. Yes, I am. I went too far. I guess I should move my level over. Okay, it looks like it's about the same side to side. All right, let's try and do the other side. All right, and almost like I planned it. I got it pretty much perfect, maybe a little bit off. Let's see. No, I'm gonna call that good. Now the side to side needs to go up a little bit on that side. So how do we do that? All right, so now comes the fun part of getting to the back foot, the back corner foot. So we need to go up. Oh. Now the next question becomes, is it worth it? It's within the lines. Probably needs to go up 1/16. We can do it. We can get it done. Now, we're gonna cut away because probably gonna show some plumber's crack. All right, and just like that, we have got a level washer. So there's the front. There is the left side. Oh, hello. There's the right side, and I haven't checked this one yet, so maybe it's gonna prove me a liar. It's probably just the way it's sitting on there, but the back side is within the lines at the very least, pretty close to center. So I'm gonna call that a mission accomplished. All right, that does it for this video. I will say that I was pretty happy with this windbag. It worked kind of just as advertised. Obviously, you can use a lot of different things. You can use shims, chunks of wood, pry bar, whatever you've got handy. But I really like the adjustability of this. You know, whether or not it's going to hold up, that's a whole other matter. But I think it worked well for this particular use case. And I know that I can also use it on things like doors and whatever else I need to move. I will say that when you're adjusting the feet on something like this, if you've got built-in adjustable feet, I think most do, I would just recommend to have it lifted up with whatever you're using before you adjust them, because it makes it quite a bit easier. They are designed so that you can, but I think it just makes turning it and kind of getting at the face of the foot a lot easier if you have it lifted up. You know, obviously I haven't seen whether or not these are going to or have actually stopped the water hammering, but I will let you know if it doesn't. Otherwise, I'm expecting that they're going to work as intended. So thank you all for watching. I hope this was informative, or at the very least entertaining. If there's something you would have done differently, let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a like. And if you like some of my other content, this video and some of my other content, give me a subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Anyway, we will see you in the next one. Bye!